And I could feel upstairs all hell breaking loose. What's she going to do?
Diana decided this was the moment to make it clear to Camilla that the royal marriage wasn't big enough for both women.
I was terrified of that. And I said, I know what's going on between you and Charles. And I just want you to know that. And she said to me, very interesting, she said to me, you've got everything you've ever wanted. You've got all the men in the world fall in love with you. And you've got 2 beautiful children. What more would you want? So I said, I want my husband. And I said to Camilla, I'm sorry I'm in the way. And it must be hell for both of you. But I do know what's going on. Don't trip me like an idiot.
Tension was high as Worf drove the royal couple home that night.
I remember in the car that there was a debate between the two of them. Some of it seemed to be fairly hostile.
And in the car on the way back, my husband was over me like a bad rash. And I cried like I've never cried before. And it was anger. It was 7 years of pent-up anger coming out.
Diana called it one of the bravest moments of her entire 10 years of marriage.
And the next morning I woke up and I felt different. A shift, tremendous shift. I'd done something, said what I felt, but there's still the old jealousy and the anger swirling around, but it wasn't so deathly as it's been before. And that was it, really. It was a big step for me.
There was a different princess in the sense that she'd almost sort of triumphed over something that hitherto had been a huge problem for many, many years. And there was no doubt in my mind that this really signified the ending of a marriage.
As the marriage spiraled downward, the palace tried to convince the public that the couple was still devoted, but the effort failed. A case in point, a trip to the Taj Mahal, a symbol of enduring love. Charles had visited when he was single and vowed then to return with the woman he loved. But instead of going with his wife when the opportunity arose, he went off to a business meeting instead, leaving the princess to pose alone. For photographer Ken Lennox, the symbolism was inescapable.
Here's Diana at one of the most romantic places in the world, sitting there alone. And it was a sad photograph, and we saw more and more of these photographs.
It was just before that trip to India that Diana had begun making her secret tapes. She could no longer maintain the charade and was now determined to tell the public the truth about her private anguish. It would be a risky move.
And later, another set of secret tapes.
I can't do this. It's ghastly. I've got no adrenaline. I'm dead. I can't get anything out.
Diana captured on video as the world has never seen her.
In 1991, for the first time, Diana began to take control of her life. She discovered new strength and self-confidence.
I'm much happier now. I mean, I'm not blissful, but I'm much more content than I've ever been, because I've really gone down deep and scraped the bottom a couple of times and come up again.
But Diana told her close friends she felt more trapped by her marriage than ever, and more alienated from the royal family.
She was becoming angrier and angrier at what was going on within the situation.
I think I'm going to cut a very different path from everyone else. I'm going to break away from this setup.
That's when Diana decided to make her boldest move yet and reveal her secret misery to the world.
I think she was trying to make her case first before anybody else did it for her.
Telling the kind of explosive story Diana had in mind would break every rule of royal conduct. She would have to remain anonymous, fearing the consequences. The royal family might pronounce her mentally unsound, or worse.
The monarch had control over Diana's children, something she was acutely aware of. She was extremely concerned that she could then lose the children.
So if Diana was going to risk telling her story, it would have to be anonymously. In a book, she could reveal her secrets, but deny that they came from her. James Colthurst proposed his friend, Andrew Morton, an author and freelance royal reporter, whose pieces were largely